Parker. Hey. So, Jordan, bless you. Jordan, since our paths last met, what have you been up to?
Since we last met, I did a film between The Marsh and this film in the US called Duress, which was a really cool little film, and then through some things that were not in my control, and I'm sure a lot of filmmakers can talk about this, what happens when your film is done, typically you get picked up by a sales agent who then sells it to all of the distributors, and that company took the rights and then went out of business, and the film didn't get released until recently. So after a few tears and some good moral support, I actually opened a film company with a producer friend of mine called Gearsha Films, and we produced David Morley's first English language film. David Morley directed Mutant, a French language zombie film. We produced that, and then we produced this film to follow.
Okay. And how did this one come about? This is a Filmax production. How did that evolve?
So when we opened our company, obviously we were flooded with various scripts and stuff, and because of my background in the genre, we got a lot of genre scripts, and this one stood out. It was something that I thought would really be a lot of fun, and sort of throw back to some of the things that I grew up watching, iconic characters. It was about family, which I thought was really interesting. And again, at these markets, when you're a producer, when you start to produce your films, you have to get the money raised. You go to these markets, Cannes, AFM, Berlin. And Filmax is really well known in the genre with their films like the Rec series and whatnot. They had heard that this film was sort of being talked about and approached me through a friend, and we sat down. It was very quick after that. We got down to talking. We did a trailer before the film was made. We did a little teaser, and we took that to Cannes and did some pre-sales on the film, which helped raise some money.
Yep. And casting, obviously you've got some great people there. Catherine Isabel, obviously from American Mary, and Stephen McCarthy from Pontypool. How did that all come together?
Well, we're very blessed in Canada to have a lot of great talent, and the casting was fairly easy on this film because it was lower budget films with really under the radar. We had really great partners with Filmax, so there wasn't a tremendous amount of pressure, especially from them, to cast the movie with big names. We really felt like some of the iconography in the film and the film itself would act enough of a sales piece that it would be huge names. And obviously I had been pushing for someone like Katie, who I thought was really doing some interesting work, and I thought this part would be something a bit different for her because it would be a good fit because she plays sometimes some harder characters, and I thought this was a perfect fit for her to come in and be this kind of harder person trying to fit in to this kind of more conservative family with this little kid.
And Catherine was supposed to be here with us for the screening, but she's just been cast in the new series of Hannibal.
That's right.
As like an ongoing character. So she sends her love to all of you guys. How is the Canadian genre industry currently? Obviously, we had Jason Eisner here a few years ago with Hobo, and I know he's still working on trying to get his next project off the ground. How is it?
It's good. I mean, we're a huge country, obviously. Like I was telling you before, it's like we barely see each other. All of us filmmakers. It's like there has to be a festival in Scotland for us to see each other sometimes. So I think there's definitely room for us to sort of pool together our resources and our ideas and maybe create some more stuff, homegrown stuff within ourselves. And there's a lot of differentiating producers and directors doing their own thing. But I think there actually might be some room to collaborate. Mm-hmm. But I think it's a really good time in Canada. We have a lot of good support, the government and tax credits and whatnot.
Yeah. Now we've got a bunch of bags and caps and Blu-rays, so if you want to ask a question, please stand up or put your hand up or whatever, that'll be good. Man there.
I really enjoyed that, and it's really good. What would you do if, for example, you were in a home invasion situation? Would you be running to the neighbour's house, barricading yourself in?
What would I do? Yes, so the question was, if I was in a home invasion situation, what would I do? Probably not a lot of what we saw up there. I don't know. I mean, I think I would run as fast as I could. What can you do? I mean, it's a very scary situation. I can't even imagine what the reality of something like that would be, right? Like, your home is so sacred. It feels so safe. Sometimes you're separated by, if you don't lock your door, just an open door, a broken piece of glass, and that's all that's between you and the dangers of the outside world, right?
Yep. Man at back.
Hiya. How did you decide on the design of the animal masks and the iconography of them?
Yes, this was a very difficult task. Originally, my costume designer, Ruth Secord, who's a veteran in the Canadian film and television world, came to me and said, I want to do the masks. then my production designer came to me and said, "You gotta let me do the masks." Everybody wanted to do the masks, right? So I told Ruth that she could have a crack at it, and through many iterations, we finally got something that I was pleased with. I think the trickiest one for me was the rabbit. The mouse one seemed to be less is more approach. It seemed to work, like just the dark eyes, and Noah Danvey, who plays Mr. Mouse, as we call him, just I thought did a fantastic job. The rabbit mask was really hard. It was ears up, ears down. We had some wires in the ears. The white was a bit of a problem for the DP, you know, fur, no fur. So, you know, at the end of the day, you just kind of go with your gut and hope that it works.
Next question. Man there, second one.
I'm just wondering, had you met Catherine Isabel previously to doing this film?
Had I met Katie Isabel before doing this movie? I had never actually met her. We had done some Skype calls about the film, so we had been chatting in the months before the film. So I had never actually met her. I had seen her work and talked to numerous people that had worked with her, and then through discussing the film with her, you know, through technology, because she actually, like I said, Canada is a huge country. She lived at that time in Vancouver, and I was in Toronto, and that's expansive space. It's, you know, thousands of kilometers. So.
Very good. Just there.
Hi. You say obviously Canada being a big country. How difficult is the audition process? How difficult is it to get a bunch of the actors that you want in that movie together?
Sure. So the question was, in Canada being a big country, how hard is it to get our actors all together, maybe into one space to audition? Well, where I'm from, Toronto, is a huge film and television hub. Not only do we do our own Indigenous film and television, but we're also a place where a lot of American productions come, such as Hannibal and whatnot, big TV series shoot there. So there's a great resource of actors that live in Toronto, a tremendous amount of actors. And then also, as far away as we got tapes from LA, Vancouver, all over the place. So it's really, you know, nowadays it's really not hard. If you really need to see someone in person, then obviously you have to get on a plane and either go see them or they come and see you, but it's really not difficult.
Yeah, how do you feel about directing these kind of stuff? You've acted before and
Yes.
done more, and you've only done, what is it, four
This is my fourth feature film.
films in it. Are you going to continue mainly directing, or are you going to jump in between acting and directing?
Sure. So the question was, how do I feel about directing, since I have some acting in my background? When I came out of film school, you know, one thing that you probably don't really say when you go to film school is that there's not going to be a lineup of people waiting for you to hire you. You have to make your own films. So and films cost money and take time. And I got an opportunity through a friend of mine who's a casting director, just asked me one day if I would consider auditioning for a film she was doing because she'd seen me act in a high school play. I had no aspirations to really be an actor, but I thought, well, I want to get on set. You know, I didn't really enjoy my PA experience because my ego got in the way. I wasn't too happy. I was like getting people coffee over here while the film was being made over there. But when I acted and I got this part, what that did was allowed me to be right there, you know, with the director, with the producers, with the other actors, and contribute in a really meaningful way and learn from other directors. So that's really why I kept acting, was to learn. And once I then eventually got to direct, my desires to act weren't as strong. I really, like most actors, don't like watching myself, and it's quite a horrible experience to watch yourself act. So we'll see. Like, I've done some acting for some friends of mine who produce film and TV. When they ask me to do something, I do it. But I think for now we will stay in retirement.
Man at the back.
Maybe jumping the gun a little here. Do you have any plans for a sequel?
Plans
Say jumping
yes.
the gun somewhat.
The question was, is there any plans for a sequel? I mean, I think, you know, some people ribbed me a little bit for the end of the film, saying that I think they said, well, it was a little, while they loved it, it was, you know, a little presumptuous to say there would be a sequel. I actually we didn't do the ending because of the sequel. I just liked the way it segued in, you know, almost like a serial, like a part of the story, whether there is a sequel or not. There could be, I think that any movie can have a prequel or a sequel. In some respects, but this was a certain chapter in the story, and if people like the movie, I would love to do it. I think there's a lot more stories to tell you.
Where's the film screened so far? This is the beginning of the tour. Right?
Yeah, the film premiered at Screenfest in Los Angeles, and then here, and then it's being released in North America in July. Vertical Entertainment's doing a theatrical release in the U.S., and then in Canada, Phase 4 is releasing the same time.
And UK, is there any?
Yes, Altitude. Who's in the building? They're
Yep.
they're doing a release. I don't know when. They haven't told me when, but it'll be coming out through Altitude here.
And what's next for you?
I'm currently writing something a little different. I just finished a sort of an epic sci-fi script that I really want to do. Everybody loves the concept, and in this financially trying time, they're saying, how can we do this for less money? So we're trying to look and see how we can do it for maybe a more modest budget.
Is there a title for that?
It's called Next World.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about
I
it?
can, for sure. Next World is set in a world where Google or Apple has monetized a place like the Matrix. So you pay to go there. And inside that world, just like the agents in the Matrix, sort of from that point of view of a group of special agents that patrol this world. And I don't want to give too much more away than that, but it's a pretty cool space.
Fantastic. Good luck with that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jordan.
Thank
Good
you,
luck
guys.
with